Happy Monday, everyone. I have a beautiful lesson for you. And this one is between a father and a son. And the father sends a son to look for a treasure to teach him the real meaning of life. I hope that you enjoy it. Once upon a time, there lived a very wise man. He was the mayor at a local village. He was respected by everyone. His son, on the other hand, was very lazy and wasted all of his time sleeping and hanging out with friends. No amount of advice or threat from the wise man made the son change. The years passed, and with time, the youth of the wise man faded. As he grew older, he began to worry about his son's future. He realized that he had to give his son something, a lesson that his son could learn to take care of himself and his family in the future. So one day, the wise man told his son to come and see him. "My son," he said, "you're no longer a child, and you must learn to take responsibility and understand life. I want you to understand the purpose of your life, and when you do, remember it always, because if you do, you will lead a happy and joyful life forever." He then handed his son a bag. The son was surprised when he saw that there were 4 pieces of clothing, one for every season. There were also some raw food, grains, lentils, some pocket money, and a map. The father continued, "I need you to go and find a treasure. I have drawn a map with the location of where the treasure is hidden. You need to go and find it." At last, the son thought his father had a good idea for him. So the next day, he eagerly set out on the journey to find the treasure. He had to travel really far across borders, forests, plateaus, and mountains. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Along the way, he met a lot of people. Some helped him with food and some with shelter. He also came across robbers who tried to rob him and people who tried to cheat him. On his way, he experienced the best and the worst of humanity. Slowly, the seasons changed, and so did the landscape with it. When the weather was unpleasant, he stopped the journey for the day and restarted when the weather cleared. Finally, after a long year, he reached the cliff. The map showed the location of the treasure being below the cliff under a tree. Upon spotting the tree, he began to dig the ground, and he searched, under it, over it, and found nothing. He spent 2 days digging and searching for the treasure. After the 3rd day, he was exhausted, so he decided to leave. Disappointed by his father's lie, he headed home. On his way back, he experienced the same changing seasons and landscape. This time, however, he stopped to notice the blooming flowers in spring and the dancing birds in the monsoon. He stayed in places only to watch the sun rise and set in paradise and to enjoy pleasant summer evenings. Since the supplies he carried with him were over by then, he learned to hunt and make his own meal arrangements. He also learned to sew his clothes and to shelter himself. He was now able to determine the hour of the day by the position of the sun, and he adjusted his journey accordingly. He also learned how to protect himself from wild animals. He met the same people who had helped him on his way to the cliff. This time, however, he stayed a few days with them and did whatever he could to help them and repay them in some way. He realized how nice they were to a stranger who had nothing to offer them in return. When he reached home, he realized that 2 years had passed since he had left. He walked straight into his father's room. "Father," he said. The father immediately jumped to his feet and greeted his son. "So, my son, how was the journey? Did you find the treasure?" he asked. "The journey was fascinating, Father, but forgive me for I did not find the treasure. Maybe someone else reached it before I got there." He was surprised about what he just said. He was no longer angry at his father. In fact, he had asked for forgiveness. There wasn't any treasure in the first place, my son, said the father. But why did you send me to find it then? The son asked. I will surely tell you why, but first, you tell me, how was your journey? What did you find? Did you enjoy it? Of course not, father. I had no time. I was worried that someone else would find the treasure before I got there. So I was in a hurry to reach the cliff. But I did enjoy my journey on the way back. I met so many friends. I made so many friends and witnessed miracles every day. I learned so many different skills in the art of survival. There were so many things I learned, Father, that it helped me forget the pain of not finding the treasure. Exactly, said the father. You see, my son, I wanted you to teach you what it's like to live with a goal, but also to remind you that when you focus so much on that goal, you may forget to miss the real treasures of life. The truth is, the life has no goal except to experience it and to grow every day with it. The purpose of life is to live it, to taste the experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear, and to search for newer and richer experiences. Eleanor Roosevelt. I love that story because it reminds us that while it is important to have goals in life, it also tells us to stop and smell the roses, to not forget about the little moments in life, because those are the moments that really amount to the great things in life. And given that today is Monday, let that be your theme for the rest of the week. Be mindful of everything that surrounds you. If you go out at night, take a look at the moon. On your drive home or on your drive to work, just notice the sky. And when your child's laughing, notice how their whole face changes. Don't be in such a hurry and rush through life that you forget to savor every moment that you have. I once heard that the treasure in life is not what we make or accumulate, but in what we experience. And it's not that life is so short. It's just that sometimes we take too long to start living it. So in the spirit of that, I wish you a great week ahead. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will see you next Monday with another beautiful story. In the meantime, stay mindful, stay grateful, and I will see you next Monday. Thank you.